everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Stone Genius Podcast. My name is Ro. You know me. I'm the Stone Genius. I'm often stoned. I'm always a genius. I have a guest today, which I know everyone's excited about because you'd rather listen to me talk to someone than just talk amongst selves. There may be plural of me. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm very excited because longtime listeners will know that I have a comment that I have about doctors. And this one falls into the category that I'm not talking about. So without further ado, and I know she's going to have questions about my latest comment here. Without further ado, this is Dr. Marie Kroh. She's a co-owner at Johnson County Dermatology, which is in Olathe, Kansas. Welcome to the program, Dr. Kroh.
Thank you, Ro.
Hey. Okay, so the comment that I'm talking about is I try to put I just remind people that 50% of anything, and I started this with doctors. I used to say 50% of all doctors graduated in the bottom half of their class, which is just a true mathematical statement, and it works with any profession. You are not, usually when I'm referencing a doctor, it's that I'm putting them in that bottom half. I don't know where you graduated, but I know it was not in the bottom half of your class. So thank you very much for being one of the doctors that is so wonderful to go to. So I have something for that. I wanted to say thank you for that, though.
Well, thank you for that kind compliment. But how do you know that? I'm just curious.
What's that? The 50%?
No, that I didn't graduate in the bottom. You're right, but I was just.
So here's the thing. So not often, all the time, genius will see genius. I can pretty much, it doesn't matter. I can pretty much peg where someone is fairly quickly on how they talk,
I'll just take it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there are people where. So the reason I came up with this, and you know this, I don't even know how long I've gone to. 20 years?
It's been almost 20. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while, but so many doctors, because I like to either get injured or just my body fails me. I would go to a doctor and they would try one thing and it wouldn't work, and they'd just be like, okay, well, I guess you got to live with it. And you were always like, oh, that didn't work, let's try this. Or if it was working too slow, let's try this. You were always trying to solve the problem, not just say, here, I'll offer a solution. If it doesn't work, I am really out of ideas.
Yeah, it takes me a while to get there, but sometimes it does happen. But no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, I mean, and that does mean a lot to me, because when we met, I came to you because of the skin condition psoriasis. And I also had psoriatic arthritis, but it was really my skin that was an issue. And I still have a picture of my back from that time, which I keep just to remind me that at one point, that's how I was. And I'm so thankful that I'm not at that point any longer. But I think I'm actually going to post it with this on my Instagram account with the release of this episode, because it was such a dramatic change. And we got there. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't the first thing we tried, but we eventually got there, and it's been amazing. So thank you. Okay, so I lost her for a second, but Dr. Kroh is back. So I just wanted to, it means a lot to me. I mean, you have changed my life and my family's life as well.
Oh, so I'm really happy when I can. So I'm really glad that I was able to help you.
So this is going to get me to, this will be a good kickoff to a lot of the questions I've written down, because it's funny as I mentioned that, just not how it affected me. And it's probably negatively affected a lot of people as well, because now with my near flawless skin at 56, I'm still wearing a Speedo to the swim pool. So, you know what? I think that's a positive because I can tan more of my body, but I'm going to say most of the people at the pool are probably like, yeesh. I know, I'm telling you. I got super vain when my skin got so actually I was vain beforehand. I was just vain and covered up. Now I'm like just the people if they want to know and they don't know who I am, just think of me as a very vain 56-year-old Abercrombie and Fitch retail employee who's just walking around with his shirt off all the time. That is me in a nutshell.
Well, you're kind of unforgettable too. You're
So
so
okay,
tall.
so this will lead. It really does. So I have a lot of questions here. So and I'm
Okay.
gonna bypass some of them because down at the bottom, and I'll send you the pictures of my pages. I always tell my guests I don't send pictures of my notes ahead of time, just because they're color coded and bright. But I'm always afraid they're gonna zoom in and see what I'm gonna ask. But one of my questions was favorite patient. So you mentioned that I'm unforgettable because I'm 6'5", and I do say that. For better or worse, people see me. But do you have, and this goes on to a question that I was discussing with my wife this morning. So I wrote favorite patient a couple days ago, but do you look at the schedule? So do you have favorite patients and do you look ahead at the schedule and be like, oh, so and so is going to be here this afternoon, and that's either a great thing or not a great thing.
Well, that is an interesting question. And that's just interesting that you would even ask it or even think about it. So yeah, and over the years that has evolved. So favorite patient, I don't have one favorite patient, but I definitely have patients that I really enjoy seeing. So there's like a whole big group of favorite patients, and they tend to be patients that I've known for a long time, or I mean, some patients, I get to know them fairly quickly if we're seeing each other over and over. But I've been in this private practice this year. It'll be 20 years. So I have been doing this for a long time, and I see the same patients for a long time, and yeah. So yeah, it's not just one; it's a whole bunch. But when I see them more often than not now, at this point in my career, I'm seeing lots of patients I really like every single day.
Right.
Um, so I am really thrilled about that. Now I stopped looking at my schedule ahead of time because when I was a younger dermatologist, I would look at my schedule and I would see somebody who I knew was maybe a more difficult patient, not so much sometimes diagnosis wise. As a younger doctor, those things are harder, but also maybe personality wise, or knew they were going to just take a long time. And then it would kind of give me some anxiety. So I stopped looking ahead at my schedule.
Well, and that's interesting that you say that. So my wife Bobby, she has been in the dentist field, periodontal field forever as an office manager on the front of the house side. And that was
Uh-huh.
so when I was talking to her about this today, we were talking about favorite patient. Then I put so I had written the question, do you look ahead on the schedule? And Bobby saw me. She was saying goodbye and she was giving me a kiss and saw me as I was writing. And she goes, "Oh, I guarantee she at one point looked at the schedule." And I go, "Really?" And
Yeah.
she goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, and they shouldn't look at the schedule, but she says that doctors
It's
typically, all the
so
doctors she's
true.
worked at, and I guess I would be like that too, because I do know that when I was in like when I was with Nikon, but I was in a Best Buy. So you would see someone come into Best Buy store. So you would have 50 yards before they got to you that you're like, ah, or you were excited. Like this person
Yeah.
really knows about photography. Person's really interested in whatever you're going to talk about, or this person's an idiot and everything that comes out of their mouth, you have to contradict with the actual truth. So I just figured that you probably at least at some point in your career peaked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. My partner and I even have had conversations about this, about how we should not do that because then you try to manipulate the schedule, and then
Oh,
it
do
all
you?
ends up
See, and
being
that's not a side that I thought about it, but that is interesting.
oh, sure. Or, like, oh, that's going to be too hard. Let's move this patient. And it ends up usually backfiring. So
Right.
neither one of us look at our schedules anymore.
Huh. See, and that's why I asked the questions, because I was
Yeah.
thinking of more on I want to see that patient or don't, not even the peripherals that happen with that. Like, oh, if I shorten these next two, then I could spend more time with this patient that I really like or something. So, and,
It's
and
usually the other way around. A patient who I know it's going to take a lot of time and trying to preserve flow of the clinic. So that's usually what it's more about. But it usually backfires anyway. I don't do that anymore. But or actually, no, you're absolutely right. There's patients I know that I want to sit and have a conversation with, and I enjoy spending time with them. And I know that it always ends up working out. But
it does.
that is one reason I don't look at the schedule anymore.
Well, and I will say this, that you are an amazing doctor, not only on the practice of medicine, but also being able to discuss something with someone, explain it to, because I had a doctor, I had a thumb surgery, and the doctor was amazing. The thumb surgery went awesome, but he was probably not something, definitely not someone I'd ever hang around with outside of anything, anywhere, and just gave off this vibe. So I decided to go find someone else for my next surgery. And they probably did as
Yeah.
well, except they were like overly nice. The problem was there were some things that happened just because you could never get in to see this person then. And so I finally found out that I didn't always need the doctor to be nice. I needed him to be medically efficient for me. But that's what I appreciate with you, because every time, and I don't, I don't time my visits with you. I mean, I would think they're probably all less than 5 minutes long, but they seem like you took every second that I needed with you. You spent that time with me. So thank you.
Well, thank you for saying that.
And I'm not just saying it for me, I'm saying it for everyone. I mean, because it's not, I'm a firm believer that I'm not the one off. Like, if something's happening to me, it's happening to other people. I'm not lucky enough I'm the only guy this is at. So I assume you're like that with all or most of your patients. So I appreciate that. So this is where I start jumping around, because even though if
Okay.
you looked at my notes, you would think that, oh, this is going to go in a very linear fashion. We've already ruined that. I wrecked that literally when I opened my mouth and introduced you. So now, but I want to ask, since we're kind of talking about patients anyway, I wanted to ask about patients when they come to you. Well, and this is one of the newer questions that I wrote, because I came to
Okay.
you for a medical reason. Sometimes people may
Right.
come to you for a cosmetic reason. So, what percentage of your new patients are coming to see you for something that's more medically required, or someone that's coming for some sort of cosmetic?
Oh, so that is a good question. For my new patients, mostly, oh my gosh, I would say for cosmetic only things, I mean, less than 1%.
Really?
My whole clinic, yeah. So I'm a medical dermatologist. So
Okay.
I see,
See, and that's
yeah. So, but I
thing.
do have what's that?
No, I was just going to say, so
No.
so a medical dermatologist. I didn't even know there were. I see that's if I had a producer, they probably would have found that information out. So that not having a producer.
Well, maybe not.
So what is so
So
what's a
see, I do
medical
see
dermatologist?
well, so well, first of all, I think we're actually kind of rare. So we see um, medical patients. I mean, so patients with psoriasis, or we do a lot of skin checks. We do a lot of skin cancer. I do a lot of surgery in my practice, skin cancer surgery. Um, So it's a medical dermatologist would be somebody who's focusing mostly on medical stuff, and that includes things like acne. We wouldn't consider that cosmetic, rashes, skin checks, that kind of thing.
Right.
A lot of dermatologists have um, a lot of dermatologists do a lot of cosmetic things. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's all over the place, and I think it's fine. And actually, in my practice, my own personal practice, my patients, 10% of what I do is cosmetic. So I do see cosmetic patients, but they're mostly my patients who are patients I've seen for a long time. I've had a relationship, and then they ask me, what maybe they could do to make themselves look a little freshened up.
Right.
Ro, hang on just 1 second.
Yeah.
She's going to bark.
It's all right.
Sorry.
I have a
Okay.
dog that howls, barks,
So,
that does other things, shakes toys, squeaks toys. The audience is very well aware of what happens in the background of my podcast.
okay, well, this is really an insane dog that will really bark. So anyway, she's not allowed in this room. But what I was going to say, so most of my cosmetic patients are patients I already know. So it's not like they've already been vetted, but we already have a relationship.
Right.
They know that my vibe is not to go overboard. I'm not a TikTok cosmetic dermatologist, but I can do it, and I think I'm pretty good at it. So people ask me to do it, but that's the extent of my cosmetic dermatology. And because I see so many patients, 10% is not really a small number. It's actually kind of a large number, but
Right.
It's not the majority of what I do.
So now I'm going to go back to the very first question on the sheet, the very first thing I wrote down. And I started these notes when you said yes a few weeks ago. I started notes on that day. So this was the very first thing I wrote down was why a doctor, and then the follow-up is especially why a skin doctor.
Oh, okay. So your first question is why am I a doctor? Like,
Yeah.
why
Was there some? Did you just always, hey, I want to be? I mean, I never had those thoughts. I mean, literally, it took until the advent of podcasting where I was like, I may be able to do that. That may be some. I never was like, oh, I want to do this. I want to grow up and be fill in any blank you want. So what made you want to become a doctor? And then once you identified that, at what point did you say, I want to focus on skin? And what was there someone that you knew you had mentioned like skin cancer is things that you take care of as a doctor? Like what was the catalyst or the thing that made you choose this discipline once you decided to be a doctor?
Okay. So I am one of those people who wanted to be a doctor since I was 3. And I'm not kidding. I never wanted to be anything
So
else.
that never wavered?
So never.
See, so,
Never.
and the only reason I asked that is our oldest, we thought just like you, like age 3, she wanted to be a teacher. Her stuffed animals, she would line up, give homework to, and everything. She went to college for it, and as soon as she got like first like experience, she was like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing that," and she went into psychiatry. And now she's getting her PhD in some behavioral analysis. But it was funny because she knew exactly what she wanted to do, and then she didn't. So you never wavered on wanting to be a doctor.
Never.
That's
No.
I mean,
I mean,
that's awesome. I mean, I wish I would have had that. I'm sure there were plenty of people, my parents, my wife, there were plenty of people that wish I would have had that foresight.
well, I mean, I don't think it's that common, but I always wanted to. And there was, I didn't actually waver, but I would say there was one point in high school where I remember sitting with my mom at some like, I don't know, chain pizza restaurant in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I grew up. And she asked me, she said, do you really want to go to medical school, or do you think you should go to art school? That's kind of that's the other thing that I really love. And
Hold on. I got a sound for this. Hold on. So your mom wanted you to rethink medical school to consider art, because I've never heard this story. Because are you sure you're not telling this in a dyslexic way that you really wanted to go to art school and she said, no, go to medical school? Are you sure you're telling this story okay? Okay. I mean, I'm just
Just
checking.
wanted
It
to
is
make sure I was going to be happy.
okay. I mean, that is amazing. But I mean, I've never heard it in that direction before.
Well, you know what? I never really thought about it because it was just my story. So why would I think about it? But you're right. That is kind of,
That's funny.
yeah, a little, yeah. So, but I
So
remember
hold on.
saying,
I got to
yes,
write this
please.
down. So when I have guests on, generally something will come up, and I think I'm gonna start a store that just makes T-shirts, and it's just like
Uh,
sayings. And I think a great T-shirt now would be, "My mom wanted me to go to art school, but here I am a doctor." I think that would be hilarious to put on. I mean, I don't know how big the
well,
market would
it would be
be for
good.
people to buy it, but I can think of at least one doctor I know that would work great for it. So I think that would be funny. So thank you for a new T-shirt idea.
Well, you're welcome.
So your mom tells you, hey, don't worry about this doctoring stuff. That's just a fly by night. You really should think about being a struggling artist. What do you think about that?
Well, she just wanted to make sure I was really following my dreams. That that's really what I wanted to do,
Yeah,
and
but
that
still, it
I
seems
don't
like
know.
she would have the alternative would have been like, "Are you sure you want to be a doctor?" And you're like, "Yeah," and go, "Because you would make a great lawyer too." You know, it just seems like it was is a or
Well, it seems pretty different. I know.
okay. So hold on.
She may. Okay.
I'm just laughing to myself because I hope this isn't the case. But how about if your mom thought, "Oh, I don't think she can get through this doctor school. Maybe she just really needs
I
to."
was no. I was just gonna say that. I don't think she thought I could do it. That's
That's
exactly what I was gonna
awesome.
tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, thanks, Ma.
So I mean, right? It wasn't like she was being super supportive. I know
Yeah,
she
yeah. And
wasn't
so
sure I
that,
could
yeah,
do
you
it.
always have to think of the other direction. You're like, for all these years, like, Mom, you were so super supportive. And today, I'm sorry I just ruined that for you. Okay.
No, thought has occurred to me for
Okay.
sure.
So
That was
Tulsa,
yeah.
Oklahoma, your mom's telling you, if you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. But honestly, I think that you'd be a better artist. So I have a distinct I have a distinct picture of your mom now, and it's bringing a big smile to my face. So she's saying, follow your passion. You may not be smart enough to be a doctor, but if you want to try it, go to school for that. So you get into doctoring school. I believe they actually call it medical school now that I'm saying it out loud. So at what point did you decide to be a dermatologist? Because in my mind, I keep thinking of our kids, and like when our dog would tear up their toys, I was always like, you guys are so good at surgery, because they would sew the toys back together and put them back together.
Yeah.
And I imagining you taking like the dog animals, and instead of like sewing them back together, you're like trying to make it look like brand new, fluffing the outer coat up or doing whatever to the toy. So when did you decide I want to deal with skin?
Well, so it was sort of well, it's really a roundabout way. So when I decided I wanted to go to medical school a long, long time ago, what I really wanted to do was reconstructive surgery. And that is because really ties back to the art thing, because I really love to draw and not so much paint. I haven't really found that yet, but portraiture, people. That's what I love to do. And so I just spent my entire childhood drawing portraits, people, all kinds of things. But that is what I really like. So I thought, you know what, I want to be a doctor, and I thought, I'd probably be pretty good at that. And so that's really why I went to medical school. And I do have to tell you what I told my mom. I will tell you in a second about why I didn't want to go to art school. But I really realized in medical school doing rotations that I did not want to go to I didn't want to pursue plastic surgery. It was too cosmetic for me, and that was not really what I wanted. And honestly, like, I need sleep. I really do. Just to be totally honest, I have to sleep, and I know that about myself. And I just did not think that was going to fit with what I needed. And there's a lot of overlap in dermatology. So it kind of happened as a second choice, but I don't regret it at all. It's been perfect.
So once you chose skin, was that the because I asked you this when I was on a visit once about the Seinfeld episode. And for people that don't
Oh yeah.
that aren't old enough to have known what that Seinfeld episode was, he was dating Jerry Seinfeld was dating a girl, and she was a dermatologist, and he, for whatever reason, he kind of is trying to put her down. And he goes, "You're just one step above like a Clinique counter person or something like that," I believe was the comment. And her response was skin cancer. And it's funny because I don't remember. The only thing I remember is saying skin cancer. Like, totally forgot about that. But I mean, so here's the weird thing about me. I forgot like the pimple popping stuff like that dermatologists may have to do. And I got to tell you, that grosses me out to no end on so many different levels. And I didn't think about that until I was halfway through the notes on these. Because then I was like, I think Bobby said something about Dr. Pimple Popper. And I shudder. I can't even, that I don't understand how it got to that point. How do you not understand you're growing a whole nother head on your shoulder? The way it comes out. Oh my gosh. I mean, so yeah, that's where I am.
Well, that's a pretty small part. Cysts, lipomas, those kind of things. I mean, we see those. I don't see it as much as Dr. Pimple Popper does.
Oh my God, no. Okay.
She makes their life.
So let me ask you this, and then Bobby. Even though Bobby told me not to tell you, I'm going to tell you the nickname I have for you. So Dr. Pimple Popper. Okay. That's an obvious nickname. Is there a nickname that you have, or you think that you want to aspire to? Like, I don't even like world's greatest medical dermatologist. I don't know what a nickname. I mean, that would be a very long nickname and not really, honestly, that cool of nickname.
Not very catchy. Not very catchy.
I'm not putting.
No, I don't.
I'm not putting that on a T-shirt, honestly. So, yeah. So you do.
I would love to just know yours. No, I don't have a nickname.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you background on this because I want you to know how much of a compliment this is. But if I tell you your nickname without the backstory, you will not understand. So you and I, we've already established we met probably right around 20 years ago. And I thought that I was a few years older than you. I don't know. I thought I was a few years old. I think I thought I was probably about 5 years older than you, maybe at the time that we met. And then we've known each other for 20 years. And now all of a sudden, I feel like I'm 25 years older than you. And I don't. So that is the background story, because Bobby will be like, you have an appointment next week. And if I'm going to see you, I go, yeah. And she goes, who are you seeing? And I go, Dr. Buttons, because I call you Dr. Benjamin Buttons, because you keep looking younger every time I fucking see you.
Funny.
I mean, it's just like, oh my God, seriously. I mean, and just so you know, from someone that is very vain and has a very high self, that really bugs me that I keep aging and you are not at all. So, congratulations? Question mark. I know
that's amazing. That's the best thing I've heard all day for sure, all weekend. I mean, beyond that. Yeah, thanks. I'll take that.
Oh yeah. No, I've said that. I'm just like, every time I leave and I'm like, how? Seriously? I mean, and this is why I think there's some sort of simulation going on. And whoever's running your simulation just likes you better than they like the rest of us. And they're like, I'm going to keep her looking young while everyone else ages. Or I guess if I'm thinking about you, it's really more of a, there you go. Okay. Let's see. I think this is a Oh, actually, because we've kind of been talking about patience, or we were at one point.
Yeah.
Let me back up real quick. The Seinfeld episode. I ask you about it. How
Yeah.
often do people reference that to you? Do you hear that? Did you hear it a lot
Um,
more like maybe when it was closer to like being only like a 10-year-old episode instead of like a 30-year? Like, did you ever hear it much or did it? I mean, and does that bother you that some people actually probably think that way?
um, okay, so that answer to that has changed as I've gotten older. So,
You
you know,
haven't
back
gotten
when that
older. We
episode,
just established the fact that you're not getting any older. So stop already. Jiminy crack corn. Now I just feel like you're rubbing it in. Well, I'm getting older. Next thing you're going to say is, let me get out of your hair. And everyone, I'm sure, is well aware of my lack of follicle. Hold on. Before you answer any other question, let's get back to me. Why is there not a cure for my baldness?
well, that is a good question. The
Yeah.
people who are thinking about hair loss are dermatologists. The next big thing is going to be gene therapy. We're not there yet.
But if I'm on my deathbed and I see someone wheel into the operating room bald, and then they come out with a full head of hair because of some gene therapy, and then I take my life, I'm going to be pissed. I better, whatever afterlife I go to, I better have long flowing hair, which may not be good because I think the place that I'm
I
going
don't
to,
know. I think I like the bald row. I'm not sure. I don't know. How would
uh,
you look with hair?
yeah, it was.
I don't know.
Let me just tell you, it was beautiful. Like, however beautiful I think I am now, I was even more beautiful with hair. So I just, that was. So my backstory, so that you know, is I was living in South St. Petersburg back in the mid 90s and like 93. I was playing basketball all the time, like outdoors, and humidity, the heat, it was like wearing a wet mop. My hair was like all one length back to my shoulder. I thought I had this long flowing locks, so I shaved my head.
Yeah.
And then I meet my wife a few years later. She says, "Hey, I've seen pictures with you when you had hair. You should try growing that back for the wedding." So I decided to grow it back out. And then Mother Nature said, "No, I don't think so." So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So, and I'm not sure I would have been good at losing it, seeing it leave me. So it's probably good that I shaved it and then it was like, voila, it's not there. But I just don't understand. I just feel like this should be solved. And I know there are a lot of illnesses and cancers and things that probably seem higher priority. But if you are a guy who's been bald for more than half your life, not by choice, I'm going to tell you, hair
uh-huh.
looks pretty good.
I would say the percentage of people who care about baldness is probably greater than the percentage of people who care about other things in terms of, not necessarily, because big things affect all kinds of people, but as a personal problem, there's a lot of people who suffer with hair loss. There's a lot of people in your corner who are trying to figure this out,
Yeah. So I've always
maybe in your lifetime.
and I'm not a Star Trek fan, but on one of the Star Treks, the one, maybe it's called Picard. It has the one with Picard. There's a guy that's blind, but he has glasses that make it where
Yeah.
he's able to see. And I yelled bullshit. I go, there is no way that blindness gets solved before having a full head of hair. Because I just if someone's blind and then they can see and then they saw me, bald me, they're not going to like that. They'd be like, no. They'd give the glasses back and say, find me a guy with a full head of hair. I really am hung up on hair. I will tell you that. I don't think you have any idea how deeply rooted my want and need for hair seems to be.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
you
if
just carry the baldness so well. I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. I think here's the thing. I am quite honest about this. If I had a full head of hair, if I came to see and you said, "Hey, we got this new test pill, take it, you'll have a full head of hair." I take it, boom. I wake up the next morning, I just have this like Greek god looking hair. I would be, a lot of people think I'm not the greatest person to begin with. I would be even worse, exponentially worse with hair. And if people go, why are you so much worse? I'd be like, because I have hair. I mean, I'm really hung up on hair. I don't, once again, I feel like this podcast, this episode has got off topic because now I can't think of anything except hair. Thanks a lot, doctor.
And you know what? I can't help you with that.
I know.
Great.
I do. Here's some questions about, I have 3 that I have written down, and this is going to lead to, I'm sure, 6. But my first question is, what makes a great patient?
Oh, okay.
I know we're changing gears. I do that a lot. See, you're not used to that. The audience is very used to that. In fact, they may even think it's funny sometimes when I say something and all the guest hears is.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. A great patient, great patient is just somebody who maybe just receptive, and who kind of is receptive and willing to maybe work a plan with me, or and just a kind patient is so nice. So I don't know.
I'm
It's
not
kind.
sure, but it sounds like you just described me.
That's true. You're a great patient.
Thanks. And that's one thing about going to a great doctor. Seriously, whatever you told me to try, I would try it. Like, literally getting back to the hair thing. If you came to me and you said, hey, the Play-Doh people came to me and they say if you take Play-Doh and stick it up your butt, hair will just spring out of your head. That's only for people that lived in the 70s that had the little Play-Doh characters that you'd put Play-Doh in their backsides and they would have hair. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about.
I remember those.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yes. No, I do.
Okay,
yes, I forgot about them.
Yes. Well, a lot of people have forgot about much of the stuff. It's probably many of the...
Those are the era of the Weeble Wobble.
Yes, those, yes. And Stretch Armstrong.
And the treehouse. Did you have the treehouse?
I did not.
Weeble Wobble treehouse was so cool. It was very cool. Stretch Armstrong. Yeah. Oh, those were good.
Yeah.
Bake oven.
Let me.
I'm gonna stop.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this a question that I had written down as well. How often do you get people that you have to almost fight their self-diagnosis? Like they want to be, like they're saying your title of doctor and you earning that title by going to school and being in practice for all these years is not good enough for them. They need to explain to you what's going on. Do you deal with that often?
That is another thing that has just evolved over the years. That used to really throw me off. And I don't know if my patients could tell it was throwing me off or not, but I would feel as a newly minted doctor just starting out in dermatology, I felt like I spent a lot of mental energy and a lot of energy in general trying to go through all of this with a patient or try to convince them that maybe that wasn't right, or I don't know. I just felt a lot different than it feels now. Now, if somebody comes in with a bunch of stuff, I'm not sure. I've definitely gotten better at it, and I don't know how I've gotten better at it, just experience. And it's not getting better at it in terms of me telling them that, I've had a lot of experience and I'm right. It just is. I do have a lot more experience, but maybe it's just being able to navigate through that a little bit faster. And people do that, but I think also people can understand. And I'll also say, some of this may be valid, and I don't know for sure, but what I would say is that maybe we try this first, and I'm open to trying other things. I don't know. I just think my approach is different, so it doesn't feel as jarring anymore at all.
And I think when you were saying that you navigating through, I just think with experience, you also get how you deliver. You cut all the fat away. You trim up, there's no wasted movement. Before you felt like I need to explain all this peripheral things so that they understand, and they don't need to understand. And you just go, okay, this is it, and go. So I do understand that. And I do appreciate when you or others are like that in life, that they'll just, hey, this is it, because it can be challenging. And I just wondered with the internet whether that made it more challenging, where people would look things up and be like, oh,
Oh, oh, for sure, Dr. Google. I mean, yes,
yeah,
a lot of people do that, and you know what? Sometimes they get the right diagnosis, and when they do, I congratulate them on that. And I say, that's great. That's exactly what you have.
right,
Congratulations. That's amazing. It really is. I mean, some people really figure it out. But yeah, it is a lot more challenging. But in um, a lot of ways, it's actually sometimes really helpful because, they've, I mean, sometimes it's not helpful, but sometimes it is helpful. So kind of just depends. But you're right. I am very direct, and that is just who I am. And I had a long time ago when I was a resident, somebody tell me that I should never change the way that I am a doctor and that I practice medicine, and that people will find me who mesh or meld with the way I practice.
right.
So, I'm a pretty straight shooter. So if that is not your style, I mean, I mean, I would like to think that I'm not. I mean, I'm not a straight shooter and running out of the door. I mean, what I enjoy maybe most of anything that I never really realized I would enjoy is I really enjoy my patients. I really enjoy the relationship. So I'm not running out the door, but I'm also, pretty direct about and efficient about what the plan should be.
Okay, so a new question I thought of as you were speaking. So you see a patient out in the wild, out in the public. Do you,
Yeah.
so if you've locked, how good are you at, first of all, I guess that's the best. And it sounds like you'd, on one of your earlier answers, you're talking about you're seeing so many repeat patients and people that you've seen for a long time and developed these relationships with. So it may be easier to identify. But if you're out in public and you see someone and you meet eyes, is there an awkwardness like, I should say hi? Do I don't say hi? Do I look? I mean, do you just wait? Harry, I mean, I've just always thought that's weird because, like, generally, like, and I'm going to lump you in with a mechanic as well, but like you have doctors and mechanics and certain things where, people want that free advice. Oh, well, now I'm not paying my copay. I see, hey,
Oh.
how you doing, Dr. Kroh? It's so good to see. Man, I just had this spot right here. Should I make an appointment for that? I mean, do you, or so, and
So,
this,
no, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say if you had how do you handle a situation where if you see someone, whether it's just eye contact, literally bumping into someone, how do you handle that as a doctor? Because you've been doing this long enough that should happen to you, I guess, on occasion.
It does, and this may or not be what everybody does, but I sort of think that just it's just who I am. So if I saw you out at wherever, I would come up to you and say hi. I mean, I like a friend. I mean, that's so. I run into people all the time, and I
See,
go up to them and talk to them.
and
And nobody shows me stuff. I mean, I just go talk to them.
I would have done that in the past, but now that you look like you're 12, I don't feel comfortable coming up and saying anything to you any longer. I'm just kidding. You don't look 12, but
No,
man, how have you not aged? That literally, it doesn't matter what I come to see you for. When Bobby's like, how was your visit? My first comment is always like, well, she looks younger. And I know that the tone makes it sound like I'm mad, but it's only mad because the converse of you looking younger is me looking older. So, yeah. So I don't know. I would have to see the surroundings, whether I would talk to because then no one's going to believe. That'd be like, who are you just talking to? I go, that's my doctor. And they'd be like, okay. Someone's not even old enough to have gone through Who are you dating? Or who's your doctor? Doogie Howser? Yeah, that's who my doctor is. Doogie Howser. So that's yeah. Okay, let's see.
That might be one of the perks of being a dermatologist. I'll just say.
What's that?
Well, I mean, the ability to be around things that help you look younger,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I guess. I mean,
Maybe.
so hold on.
Yeah.
These are other questions that I have. Actually, I'm going to get to those.
Okay.
I'll have to try to remember because
Okay.
I would need to remember. I'm going to ask about you actually being a patient as a doctor. But I did want to ask this question before I forgot
Okay.
because I'd heard a statistic that skin cancer has grown exponentially. The cases of skin cancer since the advent of sunscreen. And Bobby and I were talking about this. I go, I don't actually know if that's a true fact or not. I've heard it. She goes, well, why would you think that? I go, well, when we go to the pool, how many people are in the water when they're spraying their sunscreen on? And if you read the can, it says put it on 30 minutes before getting in the water. So my thought is if that number is true, that it's because people are idiots and they think that if I just put it on, whether I'm following the directions or not, it's going to protect me. So have you ever heard a number like that? And then secondly, I guess just about skin cancer in general.
Well, I think, I mean, I've actually, even just this week, had a couple of people ask me that. And I think my feeling about that is it's too true and unrelated. I mean, I think those things are both probably true,
Right.
but I don't think that they're related or correlated. So
Okay.
the advent of sunscreen, I mean, I just think that I don't think it's related. But yes, we're seeing so much more skin cancer, even in just the last couple of years. I think a lot of that is early detection, but our diagnoses of melanoma, which is, as you know, the skin cancer that will kill you, is probably in the last 3 years tripled. It's a
So
lot, and I don't know if it's early detection. I don't know.
So here is my thing, because I was going to lead, I wanted to go back and ask about you being a patient. But as we're talking about skin cancer, it reminds me of a conversation I had with our youngest Trinity. I came and saw
Okay.
you. I don't know. I have no time frame anymore. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was for a skin check, just to check my skin. I'm out in the sun. I've
Oh yeah.
never put sunscreen on before in my life. When our kids had it on, I'd hold them as far away from my body as possible so they didn't get it on me. I mean, I cared about them, not so much me. But I told Trinity that I was thinking about rescheduling the appointment until September. And
Hmm.
they were like, why? And I go, well, I don't want her to find something and then tell me I can't be in the sun. And she goes, so Trinity was like, so you'd rather go all summer not knowing and then find out after you've been in the sun all summer. And I was like, yeah, I 100% would prefer that, which I know is stupid and I'm saying it, but I count the remainder of my life and the number of summers I have left. And I don't want to say it's single digits at this point, but it's probably close, if not single digits, summers I have left. So I would not be I'm a good patient most of the time. Like if you're telling me about my psoriasis, my psoriatic arthritis, boom, I'm listening to. Although, caveat, if you said stay out of the sun, I wouldn't listen to you. I'm sorry. So how are you as a patient yourself when just in general, like no matter what's going on, whether it's an illness, a sprained finger, whatever.
So what do you mean? Like if I have to go to the doctor?
Like, yeah,
You know,
like, are
or I'm
you
seeing a
good?
doctor
Like,
for
how
something?
are doctors at being patients?
Oh, well, I don't know.
And if you're
I
not
don't
one
know.
often, how do
I
you
mean,
think you'd be?
but I mean, so I do my usual screenings, and sometimes have to go in for something. If it's somebody I've never seen before, I don't tell them I'm a doctor at all. I mean, so I want them to treat me like anybody else. I'm going to listen to what they have to say. I mean, that's not my specialty. I'm going to listen to them.
So,
So I think I'm probably a really good patient.
so do you think they would treat, or I mean, now, you think they would treat you differently knowing that you're a doctor?
I'm only coming from my perspective, that as keep going back to this, I just feel like such a seasoned doctor now. But I mean, the things that used to bother me don't bother me anymore.
Hey,
But
well, hold
when
on, hold
maybe
on.
the first,
Just so you know, you keep lamenting about being a seasoned doctor. I keep telling you,
no, it's
you
good.
you look like you're in your early 20s. So let's just dial it back and because
You're so
once
funny.
again, you can say whatever you want, but no one's gonna believe you. I've been in the practice for 20 years.
No,
Okay. Sorry,
it's
I
really great.
interrupted.
It's just like everything else. It's so great when you finally feel like you know what you're doing. But you know, in my first 5 or maybe even 10 years of practice, if I had a patient who came in, especially somebody who was older than me, but even somebody who was my same age, and I knew they were a physician, I mean, it would make me nervous. And I don't want somebody to not be doing their best job because they are nervous about, about me being a doctor. Because I don't know that all doctors are very good patients. I would imagine that some doctors are real know-it-all.
Yeah, and that would be my concern. I mean, I know it's totally different levels, but like sometimes when I was in photography, you would get really seasoned photographers that they knew the best way to do everything. You know, you didn't matter. You could throw anything out there. Oh, I'm going to take a picture of a squirrel. I'll tell you the best way to take a picture of a squirrel, and that was it. You know, you weren't going to
And
change them, and that's
I think that's just a personality type.
it is.
I mean, yeah, it is.
I, I'm gonna kind of jump back to just patients in general because one of the and I expanded. So the first question that I was gonna add on this was gonna be: do you think that patients differ geographically, like the way they interact with their doctors? And whether you would know, I'm not sure whether you've only practiced here in the greater Kansas City area or elsewhere. And then because I was also wondering rich versus poor, because I do know in some settings that, um, you know, if it's a more affluent neighborhood, they'll go see every ache and pain, and if it's just because of economics, if it's poor or something, they may not be able to. They may wait an unduly amount of time before they seek treatment, sometimes maybe even being too late before they seek treatment. So geographically or economically, do you see divisions in patients? Not divisions, I guess that's not the correct term, but differences in the patients?
Oh, absolutely. And what you said is absolutely true. Yeah. So where I am in the very southernmost stop in the greater Kansas City metro area, basically, and beyond that, we're
Right
really
now,
rural.
yeah, 5 years from now, you're going to be in the
What,
heart of downtown or something. Just meaning that
right, right, now
it's growing so fast out that direction. That's what I mean. You think you're on
it
the
is
edge of
growing
town
so fast.
now,
And
when I started seeing you, you weren't on the edge of town. You were well beyond the edge of town. So town
we're
hadn't reached you. It
beyond
has
it.
now reached you now.
It is true. It is true. And I would say even in the last 20 years, we've seen changes in the patients that we see. But absolutely, what you said is absolutely true. The patients, a lot of our patients still are coming from very small rural towns, way beyond us, like 2 hours away.
Right.
And those patients are doing just kind of what you described. I mean, they don't necessarily, well, this is such a generalization. I'm going to say they don't necessarily like to come to the doctor, but it's a real effort.
It
And
is.
so they're not coming in for everything. And a lot of it, and I'm seeing a lot of skin cancers out there because they're older and they've been, living in the country, but they've got a lot of sun exposure. A lot of them are farmers. The other thing about them is a huge generalization, but it still very much feels like as a doctor that I am appreciated by that group of patients.
Right.
Um,
So, and
so I mean,
let me ask you that because I haven't written that down. How much does patient appreciation, or just the fact that you solved an issue, you remedied something, and it changed their life for the betterment, whether you just know that fact and they didn't show you the appreciation, or whether they actually show you in some way the appreciation, how much is that a need or a want of yours as a doctor?
ooh, that's an interesting question. I mean, I find it personally really satisfying to, I mean, both of that. I mean, to help somebody, certainly to help somebody change somebody's life, to, you know, diagnose an early skin cancer, all kinds of things like that. Yes, I feel really, really good about it. And one thing that I say kind of all the time is, you know, I'll have patients tell me that, you know, I mean, I'll have patients tell me they enjoy seeing me and how, you know, they, whatever they say. But I will tell you, no matter how much my patients tell me that, I feel like I get my bucket filled every single day by going to work. I mean, I don't know. It sounds cheesy, but so no, nobody has to say anything to me. I'm just getting it all day long. And then sometimes people do really cool stuff like bring me a whole humongous plastic bag of manure for my garden and leave it at the front desk. So I have all kinds of really fun things that happen.
hold on. Hold on. So the big bag of manure. So here's what's going through my head. I was like, she's gonna say like someone brought her flowers and like expected like all of her patients now to bring her flowers or something. So I thought this was going down a totally different road. So a patient. So had you just like given this patient really bad news and they said, well, guess what? I have a bag of poop in my car, or I can make it. So hold on. No. What? I don't even want to know. Like, so I'm just going to assume it's some sort of animal manure that they're giving you for your garden.
Yeah,
but now I'm just wondering whether the guy's like,
garden.
oh my God, I think we're still giving people in this age a lot of credit to assume that that's just animal manure.
This guy is.
I
No, he
mean,
was like 80 when he brought it to me.
okay, that doesn't make it any better. Does it make it better or worse? Like if he would have been 60, then it's creepy. Like I'm 56. So if I bring you a huge bag of manure and leave it at the front desk, do I still get the same like, oh, that was cool as an 80-year-old? Because an 80-year-old, he could have thought he was literally bringing you a salami sandwich or something and had no idea that he brought you a bag of poop. Once again, leading back to are we sure it's animal poop?
Yes, it was. Yes.
No, because I don't even want to know how you're like, yeah, did you go up and at any point, I just want you to know on the 2 pages of notes, I have very little white space left. Not one place anywhere did I write, hey, we're going to have a lot of questions about a bag of poop being delivered to Dr. Crow's office. So, like I said, there could always be another episode. And I don't think it needs to be a bag of poop to the front desk episode, but that may be what it is. Okay, so
best patient gifts episode. That would be good.
Oh my gosh.
Because there's more. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So you're saying the bag of poop was a good thing?
It was great. Yeah.
And
no, it was a gift. It was great. It was actually hilarious. He told the front desk, I wasn't even there that day. He said, well, tell Dr. Crow I left her a bag of crap.
Okay, so here's the so everyone thinks that I'm crazy, I'm outlandish. They think all these different things about me. But so from the time that you said yes to being on the podcast to the time that we actually scheduled, there was probably like a 2-week gap in there. And I told my wife, Bobby, I think I'm going to take, to put pressure on you, I was going to bring you flowers. And then I was going to put a note on it that said, from the Stone Genius, can't wait for you to be on the podcast, row, and leave it at the front desk so that everyone would go, what's this? Oh, and they would put pressure on you to get back to me to schedule. The reason I didn't, because I asked Bobby, I go, do you think because it's a dermatologist office and they may have to deal with people that have allergies, I was afraid of bringing you fucking flowers because of the pollen or something that may in it. And you had someone bring you a bag of literal poop and leave it. And I'm concerned about flowers. So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe at 80, there's no flowers. Like if I was 80 doing this show, maybe you would have got a bag of poop from me. I will tell you this at this point. The chances of you getting flowers from me at the front desk is very slim at this point.
I should have held out.
What, for a bag of poop? No. But yeah, no. It was funny because Bobby and I literally, because I felt bad. I'm like, I don't want to take something that if someone's there and they get to the front desk and they're like, they have just seen you in the back and they think that you've solved their allergies and they walk by the flowers I bring you and then they're like, achoo, and then they break out in some rash or something.
Square one.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my concern. But now I feel like, is the bag even necessary? Could I just come poop at the front desk and say, oh, that's for Dr. Kroh. I hope she enjoys it. Oh my gosh. A bag of poop. Hold on. Oh my God. I can't believe I have follow-up questions. Has this happened on more than one occasion that you've received a bag of poop or, in more general terms, any bag of excrement from any animal?
No.
So this is a one-time deal.
No.
Okay.
It's a one-time gift.
So I will tell you this.
And I don't have a garden anymore, so I don't need any more poop.
Well, if you see a whole influx of new patients, you may want to decline them because I can just see like people going, oh, we should start going to Dr. Crow's and we'll take her a bag of poop because that will get us the best service possible. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we had a topic before the bag of poop, but for the life of me, I have no idea what it is or was.
I don't either. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. So then I'm going to find another question because I wrote so many questions for Dr. Buttons. I'm glad Bobby told me not to. Bobby was afraid that you would not be happy with that. And see, I just decided, I don't know what I was thinking. I probably should have listened to my wife. I mean, here's my rule of thumb. If I should always listen to Bobby. In this case, I didn't, and I think it worked out, but yeah, she told me not to tell you that. Let's see, what else do I have? Just seeing the doctor.
I think it's kind of funny, and I'll tell you, there's actually a couple other patients who say that to me.
I know. I just don't literally.
But that exactly.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing also. I feel like you're a lot shorter, and I just feel like you're like
than I used to be.
Yeah, and I'm not talking like
I used to.
No. Like I'm not saying like, oh, we're getting older, and I'm now a half an. I was 5'7", now I'm 5'6", and I feel like you were like a foot taller last time, and I'm not saying that I just feel like.
Oh, I'll tell you why.
The whole Benjamin Buttons thing is.
No, I'll tell you why. It is. This is true. So I am not very tall, and I used to wear heels all the time until 2 years ago. So I turned 50, and I decided that I wasn't going to wear heels anymore. So I have not worn heels.
You know, and that could have been.
There's heels, but then also this is the other thing. We always are sitting down. So we're sitting down. You're sitting down. I come in. You're already sitting down,
right.
And then I sit down. If we're standing up next to each other, then you realize a height difference.
Yeah, see that's my problem.
People will stand up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so small."
That's my problem. When I'm sitting down and you walk in, we're the same height. So I always just thought you were 6'5". And I had no idea that you weren't 6'5" until the 20 years. Can you imagine? I mean, if you thought you were ever going to get a bag of poop from me when I got to 80, you can just wipe that off now. Because if you were 6'5", sure, bag of poop, I'm bringing it to you. But no, not after this. I feel like the last 20 years, I just don't even know what to think now. But that was strange. And it's funny that you do mention that. I told a story of I was out one night singing James Brown karaoke. And this guy, and I've been drinking fairly heavily that night, and this guy kept staring at me from across the bar. And generally, I was like, not like in a mean way. I was just going to be like, I saw you staring at me. And he goes, yeah, Rodney, I was staring at you. And I was like, and you are? And he goes, I'm Mike. And I was like, oh, shit. So it was the pharmacist, the young pharmacist that my dad worked with. And I don't know if they still do it, but back in the day in pharmacies, they used to be like up on a risers. They were like, it was like 6 or 8 inches up, like a full step up, sometimes
Oh,
2
yeah,
steps
I
up.
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
And so the only time I ever saw Mike was when I'd go to visit my dad. And so I thought we were about the same height. And then when I saw him out in the public, he was like 5'6". And so I did it. So it was just, so yeah, I really didn't recognize, and I guess I never thought about that. I'm always seated when you come in. But yeah, I stood up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm twice your height now too. How is this even possible? That may have been the first comment to Bobby. Literally, I never talk about myself once I leave your office. It's always something about what's going on with you. So, let me ask you this. Do you have an exit strategy? Do you just want to be a dermatologist until you retire? Is there something you research? I mean, I know of at least one of your patients where if you left all your other patients just to focus on regrowth of hair, I'm not going to say who that patient is, but I'm sure they would be very appreciative of that. So do you have anything other than what you're currently doing? Because I'll tell you right now, I really enjoy what you're doing, so I would rather you not change, but that's also for a selfish reason.
Yeah, no, I want to do this as long as I can. I think there will be a time when I'm not working I'm not seeing as many patients as I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing a lot of patients. I'm busy. I mean, it's a fast-paced clinic. There will be a time when maybe I slow down a little bit, but I mean, I kind of never want to retire. I mean, I definitely don't want to do something else.
Right.
Maybe I'll paint a little more on the side, but the plan is that I'm going to be a dermatologist until I can't anymore.
Yeah. Well,
so like in clinic. Yeah.
So here's one of the notes that you would have seen. So this is how my train of thought, and I'll send you pictures of these notes. So, I didn't ask this question though, so I need to ask that. How often do you have what the fuck moments with patients? Like when they come in and they've waited way too long. I mean, how often does that happen anymore with you?
You mean right? Like that would probably mostly happen with some large growth. I don't know. I don't know how often. It definitely happens.
I mean, because I wouldn't be able to hide that. I'd be like, what? You've had this for 4 months? No. So that was the question. Underneath it was Dr. Pimple Popper, and then the cool nickname, then a long arrow up to Dr. Kroh, aka Dr. Benjamin Buttons. And then my note above this, just because we're talking about your exit strategy, I put, you're further from retiring. So like you could go into your retirement, your retirement planner, and he'd be like, well, I think you were like 15 years from retiring, but now you're 25 years from retiring. So the good thing is you'll be able to contribute a lot more, but the bad thing is your physical age may be 90, but you're still going to look like you're 27 when you retire. So I don't know if I don't know if it's this button. I don't know if it's this button. I don't know if it's this.
What I'm saying is I have no idea what button I was supposed to push there, so I just pushed this one. I think we should finish the rest of the interview with me in this voice. What do you think?
That'd be so great.
Would it? Would it really? Like,
it would not.
So,
let's not.
So if you had a brand new patient, first time, you've never heard of him, say it's a Roe Martin, because you've never heard of a guy named Roe. So Roe Martin comes, and he has this voice. This is his real voice. Would the people at the front desk warn you before you got in the room that this guy sounds like a chipmunk?
know, I feel like I do have a patient who sounds like that. But you played that voice for me before, but you know who it really sounds like is that woman from Poltergeist.
Oh, man, that's a.
Yeah.
You know
What
what?
do you think?
So I'm gonna say this. Because you brought up Poltergeist. Alien Day was a couple days ago from the time that we're recording that. And that Alien Day, I think, is April 26th. It's the day that the original Aliens came out in 1979, so they just call it Alien Day. So Trinity and I decided we had nothing to do that night, so we were going to watch the original movie Alien from 1979. And I would have been 11 when this came out, and Trinity asked,
It's Sigourney Weaver. Is
yes.
that it?
And
Okay,
Tom Skerritt, and yeah. So Trinity goes, "Did you go see this movie?" And I go, well, "I'm pretty sure I snuck into it at Metcalf South Shopping Center to see it, but my parents wouldn't let me see it because the alien pops out of the guy's stomach, and it's very graphic." Okay, so we watch the movie. Let me rephrase. We watch half the movie. Rephrase again. We only made it through half the movie.
So bad.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not sure, and I get it. Technology in 1979, but there was no way to misconstrue a sock puppet being pushed through a guy's t-shirt. Okay. I mean, I'm just like, how was I scared of this? So we had to stop watching it. So I'm not sure, like Poltergeist is one of those movies I just remember being creeped out about. I mean, I think when that came out, I wanted my blind shut. I didn't want shadows of the trees outside. But I don't think it'd be quite the same impact.
But who knows? I could be wrong.
Ooh, that sounds like a chipmunk with rabies.
I think we shouldn't watch it. You should not watch Poltergeist. Just remember it how you remember it.
I will.
Because I bet it's terrible.
So I will ask you this because you had mentioned your age. So I think that, once again, I think my math was correct. Originally, when we were met, I was a few years older than you. Now I'm 30 years older than you. There was a movie out.
That sounds about right.
Thanks. No fight. You're not going to even say, "No, Ro, you don't look a day over 20 years older than me." Nothing like that? Nothing?
I could. That would have been nice.
I do that. When people ask my age, I'll be like, "I'm 56, but I don't look a day over 55. And they just kind of look at me out. I'm like, okay, never mind. I can see that you have no sense of humor. Thank you. But yeah, thanks. My gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, you must love going to reunions then. Hello? And people are like, "Oh, where's your mom?"
I haven't been. COVID was my last big reunion, so I missed it. I haven't been to a reunion in a long time.
You're probably like on Facebook going, "Hey, can we have like some weird number? Can we have our 23rd high school reunion?" It's like, everyone's like, no one has a 23rd. And you're like, well, we really should. Yeah. So I don't. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty confident that, like, if I go to my reunion now, like my next big one will be the 40th here in a couple years, high school reunion. And I am very confident that first of all, I've got to make it to then. Let's say it happened this year. I would be very confident that I look very good for my age. Yeah. No. The problem, you go to your reunion and people will be like, "You still look like you're in high school." I'm telling you, whatever. I mean, the only reason, and here's a conversation Bobby and I had about you being a vampire. She thought maybe you're a vampire and that's why you look so young. I said no, because I think I've seen you in sun. I think the window was open once and the sun was coming in, and if you're a vampire, you couldn't have done that. But we've had this conversation.
True.
Yeah. You're a topic. You and your youthfulness is a topic of conversation in our household.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. No, because we don't know what it is. Like the fountain of youth. Like, I feel like you're keeping something from me. Like at some point I would expect me, I don't know if we have to actually make it to 20 years as a doctor-patient relationship. I don't know if it's 30. I don't know where that line is, but I feel at some point you're going to say, drink this. It's going to take 20 years off.
Gosh, I mean, I'm still looking for that. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I
yeah,
know that you
yeah.
say that the cosmetic part isn't very much of it, but if you could, all you have to do is I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get it. Thanks for keeping it from me. Okay, so hold on. Let's change this. Enough about you. Let's talk about buttholes.
What?
I know. Is butthole bleaching a real thing? And then the follow up,
Oh my gosh,
if so, why?
Okay, okay.
And
this
I'm not
is
saying
new
that
to me, too. I
you
did
or
not know
Johnson
that.
County Dermatology
No.
or maybe anyone like legitimately does it, but is that a real thing?
Well, I think it is, but I only have recently heard about this too.
Why
So
would
I
you
don't really
need?
have any comment. I don't understand.
Yeah,
And
I don't know
how
why it
you
needs
would
to be a different
achieve that
color.
either. I don't know.
Like,
No, I don't understand. Why does it
oh,
matter?
you know what? Maybe we've misinterpreted it. Maybe we're thinking that it's changing the color. Maybe it's disinfect. I don't know. But that is literally so. In the thing before that is, what's the weirdest thing a patient has ever asked you or your office? Because I know if someone calls the office and you all don't do it, like butthole bleaching, like they would probably say, "Hey, doc, guess what? I got a call today." And someone asked if we butthole bleach, and you'd both be like,
Ha 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 ha, that's so funny, but no, we don't.
and you just go about your day. So, what's the weirdest thing that you personally or your office that you've heard of request has been made in the pursuit of, I don't know, improving their looks?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't think I have a very good answer. I
Really?
don't.
I would have thought
No. I
something would
mean, I think
stand out as being
no.
just so far out there. Like, like
Um.
I don't know.
No. No.
Uh,
No. I think if you ask the plastic surgeons, they could probably have good answers. But no, I don't have a good answer.
really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. And I'm going to say that this is a final question. And I didn't warn you about this before. Me
Okay.
making the statement, hey, here's a final question or a last question. I have no idea what that term means, literally. So I'll say it, and then
Okay.
there'll be a whole bunch of other questions. So don't be like church and like when the pastor or whoever says, "Oh, in conclusion," and you're like, "Good, this is almost over. I can get out of here, go to the bathroom, and eat." There's going to be a lot of probably other questions here, but now did I lose my question?
Okay.
Dang, I did lose my question. Oh, I'm going to ask you this. This was not the question. I got to find the one that I was going to ask you. Does it help? And this may go more into the cosmetic side than the medical side of dermatology. But does it help for a
Okay.
dermatologist to be attractive?
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Maybe your listeners could tell you. I don't know.
I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
wondering
suppose if you're
whether,
just doing.
I mean, especially if someone's coming cosmetically, like if someone came to you about, I've seen some women that have outrageous fake eyelashes, like huge eyelashes,
Yeah.
and they're obviously fake.
Oh yeah.
And like, so
Right.
here me, if I was going like like if I was going to something for about my looks or something, like, hey, I do a podcast, I'm going to do video. How can I accentuate my eyes? That probably would not be the person. Let me rephrase. That definitely would not be the person I go to. So I'm just wondering if someone is like, I need Botox, I want Botox, whether, do you think that they
Yeah.
thumb through that? Or are you ever aware that, oh, I think this person picked me because
Yeah.
not because they want to look like
So
you.
yes, to speak to that. So as personally, if I was going to somebody to do something cosmetic, I would stay away from somebody who looks really altered.
Okay.
So really overdone, really like, so I think, yes, I think in a way, yes, if somebody's kind of go to, maybe you do kind of, for cosmetic stuff, you would go to somebody who you would kind of think, well, that's sort of their vibe. That's what they like. So I've
Right.
had people tell me, my cosmetic patients, that they appreciate that I am not an overdoer, because I'm not overdone. I mean,
Right.
that's just not I just think that's a terrible look. So, but there's people, I mean, so yes, I think that what you're saying is right. Yes, people do consider
And,
that,
and,
especially with cosmetics.
now that I think, I mean, and here's the thing, I didn't have to think about it. With you, when I say that you look younger, you just look like you're aging, literally aging back. There's nothing, it doesn't look like if, like, I couldn't tell you if you've done anything ever or whether God just said, I really like Dr. Crow, so I'm going to make her age different ways than other people age. I don't know. But I mean, it doesn't look unnatural, nothing about it. I mean, and that's what's so kind of like, and I guess that is true for what you want. So I will say this, my wife, Bobby, she had a boob job. And the
Okay.
comments that people will say all the time, women, I'm sure guys are thinking it, women are always like, when they find out, they're like, oh my God, they look so natural. In fact, we had to go through a thing because for some reason, women thought they could say, it looks so natural, and then just grab them to feel them. And like at a
Awesome.
party, not like total strangers, but like when people that she
Sure.
kind of knew and stuff. And so we actually had to have the talk because it didn't bother me because it was women doing it. But if a guy's like, oh, they look natural and grabbed them, then I'd have a problem. So then I had to go, well, I would rather no one grab your boobs. Let's just, but they,
Right.
they do, they look natural. And that's what everyone's like, that's it. But I mean, I can understand that's why people would be drawn to that because I'm not sure. I don't know how you sell that because I'm not sure if you put up a picture of you circa 2004 and you put up a picture 2024, people would literally think that you'd reverse the pictures because you look younger. And so I think that would be a hard sell too, that anyone, like people that have gone to you for a long time, and maybe that's, see, things are making sense now. You said 1% of your new patients were cosmetic, but about 10% of your total patients, meaning existing patients you had relationships with. So maybe they see
Uh-huh.
the changes in you and they're like, oh, I can make changes in me
Mm,
and follow a same. Wow.
maybe.
I'm getting clarity.
Maybe.
I'm getting clarity. It's this new strain that I started smoking. Literally during this podcast, I started smoking it, and I think it gave me clarity there. I did find the other
Cool.
question that I was going to have, my first final question, which is now
Okay.
somewhere beyond the first. And the whole question is, and I may have to expound, using medical verbiage versus Urban Dictionary. And I don't really mean Urban Dictionary, but if someone came in, does it matter to you as a doctor how someone references, whether it's a penis or a dick or like how they, I have a growth on my, and then do you care? Does it give you insight to the person? Because Bobby and I talked about this, like sometimes she'll think, oh, they just want to hear the medical term. And I'm like, I don't think they care. Whatever, when they understand. And I'm not trying to be rude or crass, like if I was telling someone that, but does that matter to you as a doctor?
I don't care at all.
Okay.
And sometimes I'll have some follow-up questions because maybe I don't, and it may be something very colloquial. I mean,
Right.
there's some like, but as long, and I may have follow-up questions so I understand what they mean, but I don't care what they're calling it.
Okay.
I
And I
mean,
didn't,
no,
yeah,
fine.
I just, I don't know. It just, yeah. Um,
But I will say though, if somebody starts speaking in medical lingo, then I will very quickly ask them if they're in healthcare, because then it sort of changes a little bit of what my expectation is for them, what their expectation maybe is from me. There are a lot of people who really seem to find it's important for them to explain that right off, that they are in medicine or they have some medical knowledge, which is I'm happy to acknowledge and great. But I think people who talk like that specifically kind of maybe want me to know. So I ask.
so are
But
you,
other than that, I mean, I don't care.
so are you hypercritical or even critical of people's, like when you're how do you judge people, like when you're and I don't know your eating habits. Let's just say that you're at a Chipotle and you're standing in line and there's people to your left, there's people to the right. Are you looking at their skin and judging their skin? Or when you're not,
No,
you don't have a white jacket on and
no,
you're like, I don't care.
yeah, I don't care. I
Okay.
mean, now no, there have been a couple of times where I have actually said something to somebody who I thought had a melanoma and needed to have it checked. And I always kind of talk to myself before I do that and think, second guess myself and think, should I say something? But then I also think, yes, you should say something. And so, but that kind of thing. Normally, I'm not looking at somebody and thinking, oh man, they should
So
do whatever.
are you thinking about so if you tell someone that, so here's my mind
Mhm.
firing off all these different things. So if you tell someone that, most people think, well, why wouldn't you? That would be a positive. They're going to go, oh, I'm going to go have that checked out. Well, how about if they don't have a job? How about if they don't have medical insurance, here in America? How about, there could be a lot of peripherals that would be going on
Mhm.
that, that it may not be, and a lot of people may forget all that stuff. The world is a game of chess, not a game of checkers. It's more intricate than just going, oh, I know how to jump this piece. And so, but having that information, while it may be beneficial for them to need to check it out, it could actually, I mean, I don't just spitballing here, cause more stress because, oh, well, I don't have enough money to pay for, essentials in my life. And now I have to try to come up with money so that I can have this checked out. And how about if it is something? I mean, so, and I hope I
Well,
didn't just make it worse. I hope that now you'll be like, oh, I don't want to add to you. I hope that you continue to tell people and stuff like that. But I could see how that would be challenging to.
I think more where I would be coming from, thinking about one person in particular who this tweet guy I told on an elevator in Santa Fe that I thought he should have this spot looked on his cheek. I would, if it was something that was not life threatening, like if I saw somebody with a basal cell on their cheek, I probably wouldn't tell them, because at some point they're going to realize it's a problem. It's going to bleed. It's going to be like, it's not going to kill them either.
Right.
But if it's something that's going to kill them, then that's different. So those are the two times that I've done that, or something that I thought was a melanoma. And my only hesitation, I suppose, at the time was, they didn't ask for my advice. I mean, when
Right.
you walk through my door at my office, you were already asking for my advice. You were not asking for my advice on an elevator, but I just felt like I couldn't not. I had to say something. So
So do you always
whatever they did with that information.
Do you always carry a stethoscope with you so that if you had to give that advice and they're like, who are you? You could pull your stethoscope out and be like, I'm a doctor.
I have not had a stethoscope since residency. No, intern year. No, it's been a really long time. I don't have a stethoscope anymore.
Well, wow. I mean, and the funny thing is, I had been thinking about what an amazing doctor you are. And now that I found out you don't even have a stethoscope, I'm like, are you really a doctor? I mean,
I know, right?
I don't know that, I know that you don't need it probably for any of the things that you do, but it still does make you look doctory. And that's really what I think you're going for. I don't.
Right, right. Since I look like I'm in high school, it would help.
Yeah, it would. I don't. I am. I'm going to. I don't know what the female version of Doogie Howser would be. I mean, I'm calling you Benjamin Button, so I don't know why I'm concerned about the gender specific naming right now, since I am calling you Benjamin Buttons. But yeah, you. It becomes you. I have a question about Botox written on here. So we
Okay.
have a family member who might have to get Botox injections for migraines, which
Oh, sure.
is
Yeah.
done like, I think, in the skull or something like that. And so
Yeah.
is that done by someone like a dermatologist, or is that done by this person? Because I think it's for migraines. They're migraine doctor. I mean, is that something you could do? Have you heard of that practice, or is that something left? Nope, that's not what I do.
So, I mean, that is a great treatment. But no, it's not what I do, because it's usually that's something that goes through insurance, and you would probably have to be a neurologist for insurance to want to reimburse for that kind of a procedure.
Okay.
So that's just done by the neurologist.
Okay.
But super safe, super effective.
So I often wonder how often, like, how much Botox, how many trial subjects do they go through when testing Botox? Because I think Botox is a chemical agent in large quantities, or maybe not even large quantities. But I know that it's used in cosmetic, different procedures like that. How are those risks like kind of measured up? Like someone said there's a puffer fish that people like, if it's not cooked properly or something, it could kill you. Well, why the fuck would you eat that fish then if it could kill you? I don't even understand that. So like because if I did anything with Botox, even I would be very leery. If you said, Ro, tomorrow I can give you an injection in your forehead with Botox, and the next day you will have long, beautiful salt and pepper dreadlocks and everything that I've always fantasized about, I would still be leery about doing Botox. Is that
okay? So I don't really know. Well, I don't know the answer to your question about how. I mean, yes.
I know, and that's more of a. I'm just joking. I'm kind of joking about that.
But no, let me tell you. Let me tell you though, the history. Do you really actually want to?
Yeah,
know?
I do.
I can summarize it in just like a couple minutes. So, the neurologist started using botulism toxin in the 70s. This is such an old treatment. I mean, as far as medical treatments, 50 years is like really old. In really, really super large quantities. I mean, exponentially much larger than what we do for cosmetics, for patients with cerebral palsy. So it injected into a contracted muscle. It allows that child or patient to move their muscle again. So the safety data really comes from the neurologist from a really long time ago. Cosmetic use of dermatology or of Botox didn't even start until right around 1990, when a ophthalmologist was using it for an eye condition, and the patients were noticing that their little crow's feet were getting better. So it's a funny way how it's happened, but it is absolutely yeah. So that's kind of a little conversation I used to have with my patients about Botox. Now nobody really seems to be very concerned about its safety, but that's sometimes how those things work.
So have you seen other things besides Botox during your career where it's changed, maybe and I guess it could go either way, where maybe something like Botox a long time ago, you had to have much more of a conversation about it, and now less so with patients?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe even vice versa, where there was a treatment that you rarely ever had to talk people into or something, and now you have to do that more of?
I would say the first way that you said, and
Okay.
and this would be really personal for you, is psoriasis.
Yeah.
When I was a resident, and before I graduated finished my residency,
Which I believe you were
psoriasis-
still in the womb at this point, based on your age now. So yes, go ahead.
Right. Was was so terrifying to me because there was no good treatment. You could stick somebody in a light box. There's topical treatments. I mean, you've lived this.
Yeah.
So the treatment was horrible. And when the biologics came out, when I was still a resident, the first biologics started coming out. And our conversations, and that was Humira and Enbrel, those conversations were long conversations about possible risks, and we just didn't know. And they were big game-changing treatments for psoriasis, but they were new. And here we are 20 years later, and there are more of these treatments. They've gotten safer and safer and safer. But the conversation has changed so much because, I suppose, because of the experience, because they're so widespread, because the outcomes are so good. I mean, it's just a totally different thing. So, yeah, that would be probably the most striking example, I think. I mean, from my perspective.
Yeah, and and that is correct, because we went through, I don't know how many different treatments we've gone through, but I actually have a question written that I didn't ask earlier, just about treatments, because I can't remember if this treatment was through you or through a rheumatologist. I think did I go with?
Okay, there's some overlap.
I took Otezla.
I sent you to a rheumatologist once.
You did.
Otezla. Well, we prescribed that too. I don't know. I don't think I gave you Otezla.
Yeah, so I think it was the rheumatologist.
I don't know.
And here is one of my problems as being everyone, and I think you'll agree with this, being every doctor's favorite patient, is that sometimes because of my wonderful, bubbly personality, that I'm not.
Oh, no, I did give you Otezla. I remember what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lost a bunch of weight.
Yeah.
I remember.
And
that was me. That was me.
But so that was my question. So that was my question, because so now have you watched the commercials, which Otezla is a pill that's taken, and it can have some side effects where you lose weight, which I'll just say what.
Are you saying it like as a positive thing?
No, well, no, it's funny because I just thought of this. So I started taking Otezla, and I started as soon as I ate, it was coming out one way or the other. I was either throwing up violently or having violent diarrhea, and I was about 205, 208 at the time, and I lost 30 pounds within about 2.5, 3 weeks. And
yes,
it was, and the thing that I was just remembering is Bobby had said, "Man, this would make a good diuretic." And I was like, no one wants to fucking feel like this. I mean, she wasn't wrong. If someone wanted to lose a shitload of weight, they were going to shit a lot and they would lose all that weight. So I remember when I called to the office, because of course I don't get to you, but I do think they got me back to your assistant. When I got a hold of him, I said, well, I've lost like 30 pounds in the last 20 days. And they're like, well, I don't think that's possible. That's because it wasn't a side effect at the time. Wait, because I remember when I finally talked to you, you said, well, this isn't a current side effect.
No, a GI upset was, but most people tolerate it better than that.
Okay.
That's kind of a little extreme.
But it just seemed like when I called that they were like, it's almost like I felt like I needed to come in and weigh myself. Like they were like, no one loses this amount of weight, which I understand. I totally get that. But it was wow. And I've never been able to put that weight back on. I still, and I'm fine. It was a process. It's not like I'm assigning blame. It was my body didn't do well with this. But I blame that medicine for the eating issues that I have now. Yeah. So, I mean, because there'll be times where I can't even, food just makes me ill to think about it, to want to put it in my mouth. And a lot of it, I think it has to do with, I remember all that throwing up and everything that I went through. And, a good way to not like the taste of a certain food is having that food come up the other way. So, yeah.
Classic taste aversion, of course. Yes, absolutely. Because maybe that's what's happening. Oh gosh. Well, sorry.
No, but we got to a place. We got to a medicine that I've been on for a few years now, an injectable, and It's always funny when people talk about needles around me. They're like if I get a shot or get blood drawn, they're like, "How are you with needles?" Usually I'll play it up though. Once again, to my downfall because I fuck around with them. I'm like, I'm not very good. And then they like pull the needle out. I pretend like I'm fainting. I
It's
think it's,
so mean.
I know, I think it's hilarious though. Because I'm just like, but here's the thing. I think I'm going overboard with this exaggeration, but there's probably people really like that. And I forget that. I've just
Who
so,
really faint? Oh yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So
yeah.
I generally, if someone is like taking blood out of an arm or everything, they'll go, "How was it?" And I'll raise my middle finger. I go, "Well, as long as I can have continued use of this middle finger during traffic, we're fine." So yeah, I love. I don't know why I enjoy doctors and nurses. I have a theory about that, but it's not a great theory. So, but yeah, I generally goof around, and it's probably to my detriment in some instances. Let's see. Anything else? I'm looking at questions. I think I almost got all of them. I think I also
Wow.
have. Oh, I do have one. I know I'm going to say final question again, but it's probably not. How often do you have people refuse treatment, and why would that be? Like if you said, if they come to you and say, I have, what is this spot? And you're like, oh, that spot is this. You need to put a topical on, you need to take a shot, whatever. How often do they go, I'm good? Or do
That
they?
usually, that mostly happens. Sometimes it happens, maybe with skin cancers and maybe in really older people. But then it's not, I mean, so really refusing treatment, I mean, I think there's always kind of, an option. I mean, does everything really need to be treated in the most aggressive way?
Right.
No. I mean, so, uh, yeah. So, I mean, if, no, I'd say that really doesn't really happen.
Okay. I mean, because I was thinking about back to my instance, like if you would have told me, oh, you can't be in the summer this summer, I mean, literally the middle of winter, all I fantasize, two things. Long man hair on my head and the hot summer.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things. And not necessarily. Sometimes I think about the summer because then I can think about having that long hair, getting out of the pool and shaking my head. Oh my gosh. What if I don't have hair in heaven or hell or wherever I end up, wherever that may be, if I don't have hair, I'm going to be mad. I mean, even if I end up in hell, if I had hair just to see it fall out every day, that's still a win. I still had hair at least at some point. I know.
I think especially in health, it
I
would
know.
definitely, maybe you'd have to go through cycles of losing it. I mean, it made just like so horrific.
Uh,
It would just keep happening and happening and happening.
I don't know why it took an hour and 45 minutes to come to this epiphany, but I feel like I may be receiving a letter in the mail, a certified letter from your office saying, unfortunately, Dr. Kroh is no longer accepting patients of your caliber, and we have some referrals. And then you give me a list of 2 and 2.5 star referrals that I could go to.
I wouldn't. Aw.
So fine,
I
not
would
fine.
never do that to you. I would be so sad if you didn't come to see me anymore.
Have you ever said no to? Have you ever quit a patient?
Um,
Have you ever said you're not listening to me? You're not taking this seriously. What I don't, our beliefs, whatever. Has there ever been anything where you're just like and not quit them, but said, you may be better served by another dermatologist at this point?
yeah, I said that.
You have. Do you?
I mean, not a lot, but yeah, I have.
Was it hard the first time, like when you felt like you were, because I figure that it probably gets easier. I mean, not easier, not that you want to do it, but knowing that it was the best choice. Like the first time, I would think that you may be thinking, is this the best choice? Is my practice? Is this one of my patients? Blah, blah, yada, yada. Did it get any easier, or is it just different every time?
I think it gets easier. I think, and when that first happens, it's almost, well, I would say it kind of depends on the circumstance. If it feels, sometimes it sort of feels like a sense of failure, or maybe used to, like, I don't know what to do. I can't help this patient anymore. Or if it's somebody who's just non-compliant, then, firing them comes from a not really pleasant feeling. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they're just doing it because it's just that. I mean, and that just doesn't feel good. But even in that situation now, I feel like I am really honestly coming from a place of compassion. Like, it's, I'm not your person. I'm either not your person because our personalities aren't meshing and you're not listening to me. I'm not your person, or I'm not your person because I just can't figure it out. And let's have somebody else have a crack at it. So I think that's just maturity, but
Or
it's
hear
valid.
me out. They don't want to be seen by a doctor who looks like she's 14. I'm just going to keep
Yeah,
bringing this
maybe that.
up. I'm just going to keep bringing this up. And if I do get this letter, which you say is not coming, but if I do get this letter from your office saying that I've been fired, I mean, encouraged to look elsewhere for my dermatological needs, Bobby will be like, you should have never told her that you called her Benjamin Buttons. But I want you to know that is really from a place of love, because you are an amazing person. I have you changed my life. You changed my family's life. I don't think I mentioned it earlier when I mentioned my family's life. But when I first got on, and I think it may have been Enbrel. I think that was the first biologic I took,
That probably would have been it. Yeah, that was
and
the first one that came out.
it
That
did
was it.
a very good job of clearing my skin. And I remember our oldest Mo, who was maybe it was Trinity, because they were small. And I remember them coming up. I was wearing shorts and they pointed to my legs and they said, Daddy, no more boo-boos. Oh, wow.
Oh,
I know. The weird thing is, I told you when we were
wow.
talking beforehand that a certain number of people get emotional on my show. It's about 10%. I think I just fell on that 10% because I do remember that. And I remember
Oh.
how impactful that was, that even our young daughter at that time, our young child, noticed that and said that about it. I mean, that was super cool. And so you really didn't just change my life. And I hope you always remember that it's not always just the patient you're helping with, but they have all these other people around them that are reaping the benefits of the service that you're doing and the care that you're giving your patients. So hold on, I get a sound for that. I'm gonna let it go because it gets creepy at the end. And maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't let the guys at the end that are going, yeah, be doing that to a doctor who I keep referencing looks like she's 14 years old. Once again, may not be the best choice, those sounds and you. But hey, what can you do? So,
Well,
um,
I just want to say that last comment. Thank you so much for saying that. That actually means a ton, and I don't always think about that.
yeah.
But thank you, and I mean that
It
just
does. And I
really
mean, and
thank you
that
so
was,
much.
and that's a thing that our children are grown. So whether it was Mo or Trinity, and I don't remember, I want to, for some reason I feel like it was Mo, but at the time frame, it should have been Trinity. Like size, I mean, so anywho, anyhow, anyway, but I mean, it's been at least or around 20 years. So for them to
Yeah.
make, I mean, that is how impactful. I don't remember anything else. I don't remember the shorts I was wearing. I don't remember where I was sitting. I don't remember anything except I remember it was my right leg and my child, whichever child it was on my right side. That's all I remember. And they made that comment, but it was so impactful because I spent years of putting topical ointments on and everything. Like I say, I'm going to post pictures. So here's the funny thing. Foreplay for Bobby and I, or actually wanting to know if we were going to have sex, Bobby would ask, have you put medicine on yet? And actually that didn't need a snare drum. But because I would put like this ointment on, and once you put it, it would take an hour to put on at night, literally. And it's like, well, I'm not washing
Uh-huh.
it off to fool around. So that was always the get. Hey, are we gonna fool?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you that you have actually told me that before in my office?
Oh, I have. Yeah, Yeah, it was
Oh
funny.
yeah.
It was
Oh yeah.
funny though because that literally was. It would be like, is medicine on yet? Yes or no? But that's how much it changed the life. I mean, now that my skin's clear, that's no longer a question. I think I can. No, it is no longer a
Yeah. And
question. So
actually, you know what? Really, that would be kind of gross.
yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's like, really, you were in the mood. I didn't know you were in the mood. I've already started putting. Can you just have sex with the left side of me? Is there any way that can happen? I mean, just kidding. So, but yeah, it was but it changed my, I mean, just, and I know I had mentioned that before, but that's how much it changes your life. I mean, because my bedtime routine is different just because it used to be I sat there and would put that fucking ointment on and yeah, yeah. So,
Think about how many hours of your life you have back.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
Well,
is,
yeah.
and yeah, it is serious. A time that I got back, now I used to do like twice weekly shots, and then now I do like monthly shots, and my skin's in great shape. And when some of these biologics came out, we didn't really know what the long-term effects would be, but I was in a
Yeah.
position where if you give me 5 years, 10 years, whatever of clear skin, oh my God. Like, here's the funny thing, not funny, interesting thing is on my right, and you know this, but on my right, like upper thigh hip, I have one spot of psoriasis left about the size of the quarter. For whatever reason, it won't go away. I can put a topical on it. It just stays. And I swear that is just the universe, God, whomever, just allowing me to remember that. Kind of like, hey, remember, I know you think you have good skin, but you haven't always been this way. So I'm kept in check that way, which I'm
I
fine
like
with.
your thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
fine. Like
I
I
like that.
said, I would hate for my skin to go back and I know that you would too, and I don't think you would let it happen. But if something happened and the medicine I'm on doesn't work and we couldn't find it suitable, I mean, I have to say that the last 10 or 15 years that I've had nearly clear skin has been, if someone would have said 10 years ago, you can have clear skin, but you're only going to live another 10 years. I know how much that has impacted my life. I knew how much it would, and I would have taken that back then. So I'm glad I may have made that deal with the universe. So if I don't die in the next few years, then the universe didn't take me seriously on that pact. But I mean, I would have made that pact. That's how negative my skin condition was to my overall outlook. I mean, it changed like what I could wear. It changed my wardrobe. It changed so many different things. So thank you. I mean,
Well, that's what we think about. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that's what we think about in medicine in general is risk versus benefit.
Yeah.
That's always the question.
Yeah.
And the benefit for you has been enormous.
It has. Yeah. And, I was just thinking if God said, hey, I'll give you that full head of, because I used to be able to clear, I mean, you can see it a little on my hands, but if I wore long sleeve shirts and pants and you couldn't really tell. It wasn't like, oh my God, what's wrong with him? I mean, sometimes I'd have spots on my hands, but and if God came to me tomorrow and said, I'll give you that full head of hair, but you got to go back to the psoriasis like you had it before, and you're not going to be able to do anything about that, I would take the clear skin. I mean, I really, oh my God, I really love hair. I mean, like way too much.
That says a lot. I know. I didn't realize.
Oh yeah.
That says a lot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You would still take the psoriasis. No, wait.
No. I would
having clear skin.
I would take the clear skin. Yeah. I mean, I would love to have hair.
Okay.
But I know that. So then I'm the only one reaping the benefits of having the long, beautiful hair, because then I have the psoriasis where then I may not be in as good a mood. I may not be as fun. Oh, let's go to the beach. I don't want, it's hot. I don't want to wear short sleeves. There is a lot that impacted. So I would say that yes. I also want to make this, I'm pretty sure that God listens to the podcast. So God, if I could have clear skin and beautiful hair, that is best case scenario. I know that you're God. I know you can do it. I don't know why we haven't worked it out yet, but we'll get it figured out. And if Dr. Kroh can figure out how to give me beautiful hair, and if you're keeping something from me, I'm going to be so mad. Like if we get off the air and go, I was too embarrassed to say it while we were on the air, but yes, I have a pill you could take. I'm going to be pissed.
No,
I mean, not pissed enough that I'm going to go find another doctor, but like I would show you. Like next time I would have a frowny face on when you saw me. Yeah. So.
I'm not keeping it from you.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah,
I know. I feel like someone is. I feel like someone that has beautiful hair has figured out the cure and they're just not sharing it with us. And I'm fine with that, I guess. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm glad you finally said yes, because I thought it was very funny. Because how many times do you think I've asked you in the past?
Have you asked me a lot of times?
I thought I had. I thought I had mentioned the podcast in roundabout way. Anyway, when I asked you this last time, you go, yes. And then you pause and you go, something like, I'm in yes mode or something. You said something like you were just like, I'm saying yes.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
or something like that.
So I'm
yeah,
very,
like I'm in yes mode.
Yeah. I'm very appreciative that you said yes.
Time.
Yeah. And
well, really, thank you for asking me.
Yeah. Well, next time I'm going to ask you, I won't email you. I'm going to come to the office. I'm going to bring a big old bag of shit. I'm going to say, hey, you were so good on the podcast last time. I wanted to give you this bag of shit and invite you back again. So you have that to look forward to.
Other things work too. Other food items.
I'm telling you,
gifts.
Bobby will confirm that I was concerned about bringing flowers to your office because I didn't want someone to have a negative reaction allergic wise. And people are literally bringing shit. So that's it. Now
It's true.
Yeah. So now I'm just, I'm beside myself that actually, now I want to talk to this 80-year-old guy and go, what, even if you said to me, I'm there for a visit and you said, hey, Ro, I wish I had a huge bag of shit. Here's what I wouldn't do. Bring it to your friggin' office. I don't know why. So I have a lot of questions of what led him to believe no matter how badly you needed this shit and for whatever reason, why he thought a bag of crap was what you needed at the office. And I'm still besides the point that I was on the fence about flowers to entice you to be on the podcast. Hold on. Man. Okay. I'm going to have you on again because I keep coming up with more questions. So from the time I said final question to now, it's been almost 30 minutes. So just so that you're well, I am telling you the truth. I am very self-aware. So I apologize that you probably didn't think I was being as literal when I said I don't know what final question means, but I was being very literal. So I apologize for that. But I do very much appreciate you saying yes and being on the podcast.
Thank you so much. It's been really fun.
Good. I'm so glad. And I do, like I told you this before, typically what happens is that as soon as we get done, I will start work already on a next episode because I will just be flooded with questions like, how did I not ask this follow-up? And I know that as we were talking, I kept question, I think the same question kept popping into my head. And then when it's time to ask, I totally forgot it. So I'm sure as soon as we hang up, I'll get that one again too. But I wanted to say thank you again. Thank you for being so great on here. I know that these, my podcast in general can kind of have a meandering flow to it. So I very much appreciate you being on the podcast and answering those questions. And I do hope that you'll be back again soon because you have made a tremendous amount of difference in my life, and not just for me, but for everyone close to me as well. So I very much appreciate that as well. You'll always hold a very special place in my heart because of all the changes you've done for me.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that was partially, that little soliloquy there was partially so that you don't send that letter uninviting me as your patient this week. So that's going to be
I would never do that.
okay. That's going to be a fear. And now I think that Bobby's going to mess with me and she's going to send me a letter and put like your letterhead. And then when I open it, it'll just say, ha. She would never do that. So, but I just won't get the mail this week because if I don't answer the mail, the letter will never come.
Then it never happened.
Yep, exactly. Hey, for everyone that's been listening to the program, I've been talking to one of my favorite people. It's Dr. Marie Kroh. And I guess I should have spelled your name. If anyone is in the greater Kansas City area and maybe looking for a dermatologist, the last name is spelled Kroh. Because I know when I've given that to pharmacies and stuff, they immediately spell it like the bird. So, but Dr. Marie Kroh, she's with Johnson County Dermatology, which is in Olathe, Kansas. Thank you so much for being on the program. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Everyone else, we'll talk to y'all later. You've been listening to the Stone Genius Podcast. My name's Rode. Bye.